I'm a bit tired from the current states of online marketing, I'll be honest, where everything just became me, me, me. The ads scream, "Hey, look at me." The posts scream, "Look at me. Look at what I achieved." And it's not about business anymore. It's not about helping the customer, it seems. It's just about ego. It reminds me the days of Wolf of Wall Street. Obviously, I haven't lived at that time, but in the movie, you see them just pick up the phone, call prospects, and as long as you're wearing a suit and you have a bit of a slick tongue, you can sell. As if prospects have believed anything or almost anything they've been told. And I think that that was the case because, um, you know, the trust ceiling was higher back then. And it took some time for marketers and sellers to abuse their right to sell services and products as it is now. Um, so there's a lot more trust back then, and the barrier entry was a bit higher. You couldn't just post anything online, right? Social media didn't exist back then. You have to pick up the phone, you have to make an effort, and it was slightly harder than online selling. But today everybody's doing it, and I understand that certain hooks work better. So when you scroll on Instagram or YouTube or TikTok, a lot of marketers and business owners start with, "Hey, I've made $10 million last year. Oh, last month I've made $100,000. Here's how I did it." And they start uh, talking about themselves more and more. And I get that it works. This sort of marketing hooks, they get attention, they'll build credibility. But I think the problem is we just overuse them way too much. And paradoxically, the more you do it, the more self-centered you seem, and um, the less trust you seem to get from prospects, the less trustworthy you seem, simply because everybody else is saying that it's not that unique anymore. Um, Prospects don't believe marketers anymore, and they know that marketers and salespeople will say anything just to make a quick buck, right? They'll promise anything. They'll they'll handle hundreds of like dozens of objections on the call, and they know that a lot of unethical marketers and professionals work in that industry. There's a study from, I think it's called, the company calls Ipsos, that's the organization that's doing these surveys, and they surveyed 20,000 adults and asked them about what professions seem trustworthy to them and what professions seem the least trustworthy. And advertising executives were at the bottom, right above politicians. So that's how bad it got. People don't trust advertising executives, they don't trust marketers, and they almost, I think they compare them to politicians. I'm Think about if of all the great founding fathers of marketing from the 50s or 60s, if they live today, if they were alive today, think about David Ogilvy, Gary Halbert, Eugene Schwartz. What would they post on their Instagram? Would they talk about their Lambos or their rented lifestyle or whatever? No, they just, maybe they would do it every now and then. Um, Maybe they would do it every now and then, just maybe to show off just a little bit or show what they achieved. Okay, I'm not 100% against that, but most of their content wouldn't be around their achievements. It would be it revolves around the customer's problems, and that's what we forgot. Marketing should revolve around the customer's problems, not our own ego. Customers don't really care what we achieved, right? again, it could help build credibility at some point. I get that, but not really. I mean, you should talk about their problems for the most part and how you can help them. And the way to build credibility is not only using these, you know, credibility elements and talk about what you achieved. The best way to build credibility, in my eyes, is when you go deep on the problem, when you articulate the problem better than the prospect can ever articulate it. That's what builds trust. When you go deep on the problem, why it happens, what prospects have tried before to solve the problem, what negative consequences the problem has, the problem carries if it's not solved. That kind of language. When you talk like that, when you explain the problem on a deep level, that instantly or almost instantly creates trust, because prospects think, okay, he knows the problem so well. It seems like he understands me. Maybe he has a solution as well. So I think we should talk more about the customer, not about ourselves. And regardless, I believe in the past 7 years or so, and it's probably been that way for the past 20, 30 years, there's a certain uneasiness people feel constantly. Unexplained uneasiness. It started, I think, in COVID. I mean, it gotten worse in COVID, and with the wars going on in the world and the economic crisis and all that, people just feel there a certain uneasiness throughout the day, throughout the week. And if you, as a business owner, if you add to that feeling of uneasiness when you try to sell them your product, if you push them, um, if you don't put their interest before yours, then it's very easy to get blacklisted. They just they meet you. You immediately consider a threat, and it's pretty much over right there and then. The good news is, though, I don't think it's going to last forever. As with anything, um, the internet has seasons to it. Content follows trends, messages die away with time, or specific sort of messaging dies with time, and marketers will just have to adapt as trust is getting more rare, and there just be no option for marketers other than adapting and changing their strategy. So that's it.